So welcome to all of you, Shiksha 360, and today basically we will discuss our MCQ session set number 13. Clear? Our MCQ session basically set number 13, and that is basically belongs from chapter number 5. And in this session, basically we have to discuss question number 171 to from 180. Clear? Question number 171 to 180. So let's start. The first question basically presents on your screen. So now very easy question. EEFC, clear? Basically EEFC, basically what it donates. Clear? Please tell fast. EEFC, clear? What it is the meaning of EEFC or what it donates? EEFC. First one is exchange earners foreign currency account. Second one is importers account with the bank. Third one here, that is the account maintained by exporter with RG. Fourth one is none of these. Clear? Basically fourth one is none of these. Clear? So what is the meaning of that? EEFC, clear? Basically EEFC, basically exchange earners foreign currency account. Clear? Basically it is exchange earner foreign currency account. So option number A is the correct answer. Clear? Option number A is the correct answer. That is exchange earner foreign currency account. Next, move to the next question. Very important question. Factoring. Factoring, basically it is defined as a continuing agreement. Clear? Basically what is factoring? Basically it is defined as a continuing agreement basically between a financial institution known as factor and the business concern, that is the exporter or seller. Was introduced in India basically on the recommendation of which committee? Clear? Basically on the recommendation of which committee? Clear? Narasimham Committee, HR Khan Committee, Janakiraman Committee, and Kalyanasundaram Committee. Clear? And Kalyanasundaram Committee. Clear? So please tell fast what is the correct answer. Please tell fast what is the correct answer of this question. So basically factoring, basically it is defined a continuing agreement. Clear? Basically basically we have to remember that basically it is on the recommendation of which committee? Clear? Basically on the recommendation of which committee? Clear? Narasimham HR Khan Committee, Janakiraman Committee, and Kalyanasundaram Committee. Clear? The correct answer here, that is option number D. Clear? The correct answer here, that is option number D, that is Kalyanasundaram Committee. Clear? Kalyanasundaram Committee. Clear? So now let's little bit discuss regarding that, so you are able to remember these things. Clear? First of all, factoring. So what here? Factoring is defined as a continuing agreement between a financial institution, that is basically known as the factor. Clear? Financial institution basically known as the factor. Like we can say that basically 6. So how we can write it as 6? Like 2 into 3. Clear? 2 into 3, just for the understanding purpose. Clear? Not technical anything, just for the understanding purpose. Clear? Factoring, that is basically here, what is that? 2 and 3. Basically 2 and 3 are factors. Clear? 2 and 3 are factors of a 6. So basically we can divide it. Clear? In simple language, we can either write 6 or 2 into 3. Clear? Basically we can divide our calculation. Clear? So that basically we can easily go to that point. Clear? So that basically we can easily go to that point. Clear? Similarly, factoring, it is like a, we are dividing the business. Clear? Basically we are dividing the business. So basically we can run smoothly our business. Clear? Simple language, we can say that basically we can dividing our business. Like we can say that basically an exporter sells machinery. A is the importer, and A promises to, this is like we can say that B, that A will pay back in 12 months the whole amount. Clear? That is the whole amount basically will pay in 12 months. Clear? Every month that is some specific amount will pay, or after 3 months, quarterly or half yearly. Clear? Depends upon case to case. Clear? So here, but B wants some money urgent. Clear? But B wants some money urgent. Clear? So what they will do, basically they will take the service of the factor. So basically B will give their invoice, the factor. Like we can say that invoices are basically of 120 lakh. Okay, so what factor will do? Basically, they will take their commission or fees, because in these types of business, they will definitely get the payment on time. Clear? Basically, we are assuming that definitely, basically, they will get the payment on the time. Clear? All are the basically deals through the banks. Clear? Proper dealing is done. Clear? So what they will do, basically, they will take the commission or fees basically for the payment on the spot and take the invoice. Clear? That is basically in the end, basically, from a payment will be received by this one. Clear? Payment will be received by the factor. Clear? Payment will be received by the factor. That is basically, these are also one of the financial institutions. Clear? Basically, who are working for these things. Clear? Basically, who are working for these things. Okay. So this is the meaning of the factoring. So please tell fast. All of you are now able to understand what is the meaning of factor. What is the meaning of factoring? Please tell fast. As earlier, basically, some students are facing issue in that. That's why basically I will take the example of that. Clear? What is the meaning of factoring? Just remember these things. Clear? Like 6, we can divide it. Basically, we can route it as 2 into 3. Clear? Both 2 and 3 are factors of that. So basically, what is factoring? Basically, factoring is defined as a continuing agreement between a financial institution, that is the factor, and the business concern. Clear? That is the exporter and seller selling goods or services, to track customers on open account basis. Clear? Basically, whereby the factor purchases the client books debts. Clear? These are the book debits. Book debits, that is basically from where they will get the payment. Clear? Book debts are basically those basically from where they will get the payment. Clear? Whereby the factor purchases the client book debts either with or without recourse to the client, and in a relation thereto controls the credit extended to the customers and administrators the sales ledger. Clear? And administrators the sales ledger. Clear? So as given above, the purchase of book debts is central to the function of the factoring, while clear, purchase of book debts basically is central to the function of the factoring, while credit control and administration of sale ledger are other services basically provided by the factory. Clear? Basically are other services. Clear? Main function, that is the purchase of the book debts. Clear? Purchase of the book debts, it is the main function, while credit control and administration of sale ledger basically are the other services basically provided by the factor. Clear? So these types of things basically you will get in the examination as a 1 mark question. Clear? All these types of things basically you will get as a 1 mark question basically in the examination. So please remember these things properly. Now move to the next point, which is the question. So while factoring has a long history dating back to several centuries in India, it was introduced in the early 90s. Clear? When was introduced basically in India? In the early 90s, after recommendation of Kalyanasundaram Committee. Clear? Basically after the recommendation of the Kalyanasundaram Committee that was set up to examine the feasibility of introduction of factoring in India, which were accepted by the Reserve Bank of India. Clear? Basically, which were accepted by the Reserve Bank of India. Clear? So please remember that basically it was on the recommendation of Kalyanasundaram Committee. Clear? Sundaram Committee. And that is what is factoring. All these things basically I have discussed with you. Clear? So this is one, the factor provides basically what are the different services. Debt administration. Second one is the credit protection. Third one is the factor financing. Clear? Third one is the factor financing. Clear? So I request to all of you, please go through that one later on. Clear? So now move to the next question. The export proceeds shall be realized in. Clear? The export proceeds basically shall be realized in any foreign currency, non-convertible currency, convertible currency, or home currency only. Clear? So the export proceeds, clear, the export proceed, that is basically we can payment in which currency. Clear? Any foreign currency, any convertible or non-convertible currency, convertible currency, or home currency only. Clear? So the correct answer, that is the convertible currency. So option number C is the correct answer, that is the convertible currency. Clear? The export proceeds basically shall be realized in the convertible currency. Clear? So option number C is the answer here. Clear? Option number C is the answer here. That is the convertible currency. Now move to the next question. Question number 174. Very easy question. Just they are asking, when was the Exim policy announced for the first time? Clear? Basically, when was the exim policy basically announced for the first time? 1947, 1985, 1991, and 1999. Clear? These types of question basically sometimes basically they are asking case study. 3 marks or 5 mark case study. Clear? So in that basically you will get 1 mark question. Clear? This type of question you will get 1 mark question in at that time. Clear? So when was the exim policy basically announced for the first time? 1947, 1985, 1991, and 1999. Clear? So basically it was announced for the first time, that is basically in the year 1985. Clear? 1985. So option number B is the answer. Clear? This we have already discussed under the part 1 in detail. Clear? So please remember all these things properly. Now move to the next question. Question number 175. Please go through the question. So if a trade is done on the open account, clear? Basically, if a trade is done on the open account, clear? I think we have already discussed in the factoring, clear? Basically, in the factoring, same thing basically they are asking here, clear? If the trade is done on the open account, the importer pays in cash, the importer borrows from a bank, the importer signs a formal debt instrument, the importer purchases basically with the specific credit term. Clear? The importer purchases basically with the specific credit term. Clear? So basically they will say that basically they will do the payment basically in 6 months, or they will do the payment basically in 9 months. Clear? So that is basically what is known, that they will pay after some time. So after some time, they basically it means that credit is given, that the goods are provided basically on the credit that they will pay you after some time. Clear? That they will pay you after some time. Clear? And here the importer signs a formal debt instrument. It is not that. The importer basically purchases basically with the specific credit term. Clear? With the specified credit term. Clear? So the correct answer here, that is option number D. Clear? The correct answer here, that is option number D. That is basically the exporter purchases basically with the specific credit term. Clear? That is basically they will pay after some time. Clear? That is they will pay after some time, like we can say that, or basically they will give you the time period. Clear? Like 6 months. Clear? So option number D is the correct answer. That is the importer purchases basically with the specified credit term. Clear? So option number D is the correct answer. Not option number C. Clear? That is importer signs a formal debt instrument. This thing basically you have not read at any place. Clear? This one is little bit more correct one. Clear with respect to that. Next one is Exim Bank offers supply credit facility to. Clear? Basically Exim Bank basically offers supply credit facility to. Clear? With suppliers credit. Clear? Not supply credit, basically suppliers credit. Clear? Basically suppliers credit and buyers credit. Clear? Basically there are two things. Clear? So basically suppliers credit to whom? Basically first one is Indian exporters basically for the manufacturing, Indian importers for offering deferred credit to the overseas buyers. Third one is basically Indian importers to import from other countries, or overseas supplier of goods to the importer. Clear? Or overseas supplier to the goods to the importer. Clear? So basically Exim Bank offers suppliers credit facility basically directly to the overseas supplier of goods to the importer. Clear? Basically directly to the overseas supplier of goods basically to the importer. Clear? Under the IDPMS. Clear? Basically we have discussed. Clear? After the IDPMS basically we have discussed regarding that. Clear? So Exim Bank basically offers suppliers credit facility basically to directly to the overseas supplier of goods to the importer. Clear? Overseas supplier of goods basically to the importer. So option number D is the correct answer. Clear? Option number D is the correct answer. Clear? Please remember these things. Clear? Please remember these things. Very straightforward question. Clear? These are very, very straightforward question. Now move to the next question. Very easy question and very important. The statutory authority which administers the exchange control in India. Clear? Basically, the statutory authority, basically, which administers the exchange control in India. Exchange control in India. Ministry of Commerce, DGFT, FEDAI, and RBI. Clear? FEDAI and RBI. Clear? I have properly discussed this thing under the chapter number 5, part 1. Basically, the statutory authority. That is basically statutory. Basically, it means that they have its own act. Clear? Basically, they have its own act. Clear? Statutory, basically, that is the specific act. Clear? For DGFT, basically, this is not as such any specific Ministry of Commerce. It is a different thing. Clear? Either basically FEDAI basically, or RBI. Clear? Basically, RBI is a statutory authority. Clear? So here the correct answer is basically option number D. Clear? Basically, it governs the broad parameters of the guidelines in financing for the exporters also. Clear? So option number D is the answer. That is the RBI. Clear? That is the RBI. Because DGFT basically, what DGFT basically will do, basically it regulates the trade control. Clear? It regulates the basically trade control part. And overall, basically, exchange control, basically, it is to be done by the RBI. Clear? Basically, it is to be done by the RBI. Clear? And this is basically also mentioned under the FEMA 1999. Clear? That is overall, basically, regulator is the RBI. Clear? Overall regulator, basically, it is the RBI. Clear? So option number D is the correct answer. That is the RBI. So now move to the next question. Every exporter should obtain a code number. Clear? Basically, every exporter basically should obtain a code number before making exports. Clear? Basically, every exporter basically should obtain a code number before making exports. So what is that number? Clear? So what is that number? Clear? There is a number. Like basically you are doing export. So basically you will require a number. That is a number, that is IEC number. Clear? We know that basically in all the options, basically IEC mentioned. So that number is IEC. IEC basically, that is importer exporter code. Please remember that import export code. Sometimes basically we will write that not it is import export, that is importer exporter code. And it is to be issued by DGFT, SEBI, Exim Bank, or SIDBI. Not this one, not this one, not this. And it is to be issued by the DGFT. Clear? DGFT. Director General of Foreign Trade. Clear? Director General of Foreign Trade. Clear? So please remember all these things. Clear? So please remember all these things. Very easy questions for the examination point of view. Now move to the next question. Export proceeds from the following ACU countries. Clear? Should be settled in ACU dollar or ACU euro. Clear? Should be settled basically in ACU dollar or ACU euro. Clear? First one is Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Burma, and Myanmar. Second one is basically Islamic Republic of Iran. Third one is Republic of Maldives. Fourth one is Nepal. Clear? Basically, fourth one is Nepal. Clear? So first question basically from my side to all of you. What is the full form of ACU? What is the full form of ACU? Basically, ACU basically it means that Asian Clearing Union. Clear? Basically, Asian Clearing Union. Clear? Among that, basically these countries, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Burma, Myanmar. Clear? These are included. Yes. For exports to basically Islamic Republic of Iran, basically this is also included. Republic of Maldives. Clear? Basically Republic of Maldives, basically this one is also included under that. Clear? Republic of Maldives. We can ensure that because Nepal is not. Because in the Nepal, basically, not in the ACU dollar or ACU euro, basically in the Nepal settlement, basically it is to done in the Indian rupees. Clear? Settlement, basically it is to be done in the Indian rupees also. Clear? Basically in the Indian rupees also. Clear? Basically in the Indian rupees also settlement is to be done in the Nepal. Clear? So basically should be settled either in the ACU dollar or ACU euro. Clear? Basically they are asking basically either in the ACU dollar, basically ACU euro. Clear? But this is part of the ACU. Clear? That is Asian Clearing Union. Clear? But it is exempted. Clear? Basically, but it is exempted from the ACU dollar and ACU euro. Clear? In that, basically transaction is to be settled basically in the Indian rupees also. Clear? Basically transaction is to be settled basically in the Indian rupees also. So what is the correct answer? That is A, B, and C. Clear? A, B, and C is the correct answer. So option number A is the answer. Clear? Option number A is the answer. That is A, B, and C. Clear? That is A, B, and C. Okay, so please remember all these things. Clear? So please remember all these things. Now move to the next question. Dash, where usually the exporter and the importer decide to have a common factor. Clear? Basically dash, where usually the exporter and the importer decide to have a common factor with offices or branches basically in both the countries. Clear? Basically with offices or branches in both the countries basically for what? To speed up the process and reduce the cost. Clear? Dash, where usually the exporter and the importer decide to have a common factor. Clear? Where offices or branches basically in both the countries to speed up the process and reduce cost. Clear? So there is basically single factor system, two factor system, direct export factoring, or direct import factoring. Clear? So first of all, basically we will know regarding these four terms, and after that basically we will move towards the answer. Clear? And after that basically we will move towards the answer. As many students are answering this, option number A is the correct answer. Clear? Option number A is the correct answer. But we have to little bit discuss regarding that. Clear? So depending upon the need of the exporter client and his price, bearing capacity, various types of international factoring basically are involved, and the principal among them. Clear? Just basically we have to discuss these four factoring. Clear? There are also many other available, but we have to discuss these four. First one is the single factor system. Clear? First one is the single factor system. That is basically whereby or where usually the exporter and the importer. Clear? Basically where usually the exporter and the importer basically decides to have a common factor. Clear? Basically where usually the exporter and the importer decide to have a common factor with the branches or offices in basically both the countries to speed up the process and reduce the cost. Clear? That is basically, that is option number A. Clear? What the question say that is basically, it is a definition of the option number A. Next one is basically two factor system. Basically whereby two different factors basically in two countries are used. Clear? In the single factor basically they want that the common one, and here basically two factor system basically where two different factors basically in two countries are used, and both are independently basically providing services basically to the exporter and the importer. Clear? One we can say that in the exporter country, and other one is the importer country. Clear? Basically other one is the importer country. Clear? Where basically two factors or two different factors basically in two different countries are to be used. Next one is the direct export factoring. Clear? Direct export factoring. Basically in this case, only one factoring company, clear, based in the exporter's country is engaged. Clear? Direct export factoring, that is basically factoring company basically it is in the exporter's country. Clear? From the word export, just you have to remember that basically factoring company basically based in the exporter's country is engaged, who makes all arrangement basically assessment of the credit of the debtor etc basically on his own. Clear? Before providing the factoring service basically they have to look into the condition. Clear? Whether the debtor basically has that much, we can say that basically have that much enough capacity to pay back or not. Clear? To pay back or not. Clear? Basically this depends upon. Next one is direct import factoring. Clear? Direct import factoring. Clear? Basically under that basically hereby only one factor basically based in the importer's country. Clear? Just from the import, that is basically factor basically in the importer's country is engaged, and he is engaged by the importer to primarily facilitate financing of debts. Clear? To primarily basically facilitate financing of the debts. Clear? Financing of the debts. Clear? So these are the four main types of the factoring. Clear? Basically these are the four main types of the factoring. Clear? So please remember all these things. Clear? So please remember all these things so that you are able to answer the question. Clear? So that you are able to answer the question. Different types of question basically will be asked in the examination basically from these points. Clear? In the next session basically we have to little bit discuss some more points on this concept. Clear? On this concept and some more questions. Clear? So in the next session basically we have to discuss again some more questions on the chapter number 5. Clear? So in the meanwhile basically you have to go through the chapter so that you are able to remember some more points clear properly. So thanks to all of you for joining this session. Clear, and I request all of you, please go through this point also again, and the answer of this question, basically I have option number D is the answer. Clear, I have not properly mentioned, so option number D is the answer. Clear. So thanks to all of you for joining this session. Hope all of you are able to understand all these questions.